Hi, this is Koshik Ranchod from the Ranchod Law Group. I'd like to welcome you to another week of the Ranchod Law Group Immigration Q&A. Today we have quite a few frequently asked questions about the Affidavit of Support. The Affidavit of Support involves a lot of applications. It involves marriage-based green card applications. It involves when you're doing a waiver, an I-601 waiver. It also involves the fiancé visa application. There it's a different kind of affidavit of support. That's on form I-134, but we're not going to get into that. In this discussion, we're going to talk about the I864 affidavit of support. And with the hardship waiver, that's part of the process. It's not part of the waiver application itself, but after, for instance, an I-601A waiver process, after that waiver is approved, then you can go ahead and file the I864. So my first question is, what income do I need to qualify? Well, the way you can find that out is by going to the USCIS website and looking up form I864P, and that has the federal poverty guidelines. And you need to be above the federal poverty guidelines, 125% above the federal poverty guidelines, and that form I864P will lay that out because it also changes every year. The second question, my income is below the requirements. What do I do? Well, you have two options. Option number one, you get a joint sponsor. We do this a lot of people unfortunately don't meet the federal poverty guidelines. So in that situation, you can get a joint sponsor. So the joint sponsor needs to meet the federal poverty guidelines, and they also have to be a U.S. citizen or permanent resident. Another way that you can also meet the affidavit of support requirements is through your assets. Now your assets need to be, if you're doing this through marriage, 3 times what the income requirements normally would be. Another frequently asked question that we get is, does the joint sponsor need to be a relative? The answer is absolutely not. They don't need to be a relative. So that's not a problem if they're not a relative. If they're a friend, you can still have them as a joint sponsor, and we've done this on many occasions. The next question, I did not file my taxes last year. Can I still file? And the answer to that is no. You have to then file late taxes. So, for instance, if you don't meet the income requirements, but you even have a joint sponsor, and you are required to file taxes, you need to file late taxes. And then the final question, I'm self-employed. Can I file the affidavit of support, or am I disqualified? If you're self-employed, you still may be able to file the affidavit of support application. You just need to meet the federal poverty guideline requirement as set forth by the USCIS, and the USCIS will look at what your household income is. Sometimes if you have very extensive tax returns, this could be a little bit more complicated, but we figure that out for you, so it's not a problem. So I want to thank you for taking the time to watch this video. Hopefully it answered questions about one of the most complicated family-based immigration forms, the Affidavit of Support. I invite you to contact us to schedule a consultation. You can reach us at 916-613-3553. We answer questions like this all day long. And I want to acknowledge the fact that you are trying to better yourself just by watching this video. And by bettering yourself, you're bettering your family. And by bettering your family, you're bettering our country. Thank you, and until next week. That best describes the service you're seeking. I'm attorney Koshik Ranchod with the Ranchod Law Group. Whether you're trying to determine the type of visa or green card you qualify for, or just need tips on what to look for in hiring an immigration attorney, we have the answers. My team of professionals is comprised of many immigrants, and we understand how complex the process can be on your own. Give my office a call today for a free consumer's guide on hiring an immigration attorney.